the last session of week 3. So again, I think we have some familiar faces in the chat, but also if you're new, thanks again for taking the time for joining us this week. This is the last session of our 3rd annual Go to College series, which is our virtual summer series. So again, today's August 7th. And we can definitely get started here today. We have a great lineup, some great speakers to talk about some really good information. So, but yeah, this again, I put in the chat as well. Feel free to introduce yourselves, drop in, where you're coming from. If you're attending college, we definitely want to learn more about where our attendees are joining us from today. So we can get started. Nick, go ahead. Next slide. Adriana. As a reminder, but also just a final reminder, since today is the last session, today we'll be covering some tools, tips, and transitions in today's session. So again, feel free to, if you've stayed to the end of the event, we'll have some incentive prizes and giveaways. If you want to jump into the next slide, Adriana. Another reminder, if you're able to attend one session, we have a really great gift card for you. 2 sessions are in the drawings for headphones, 3s for the tablet, and of course 4s for our student laptop. So again, please make sure to stay to the end of the session. We'll share out the survey link and the QR code so you can be able to fill out some of your information. And again, that feedback is always super beneficial for us and our team. So definitely be sure to fill that out as you can. And again, we'll probably announce our prizes, our winners next week sometime. So definitely keep an eye on your email, and we'll definitely be sure to get out to the winners. Next slide. With that, we'll transition to our speakers today. And we'll let them take it away. So Carla and Deanna, thank you again for joining us, and we'll stop our share and we'll pass it over to you today.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So as Sean and Adriana mentioned, my name is Deanna Rainbow, and I currently work at Nueta Hidatsa Sahnish College in Newtown, North Dakota. I've been here for just a little over 9 years. In my prior role, before moving into the Vice President of Student Services, I was the counselor for probably about maybe 8 years and I say probably like maybe 3 months. So I'm kind of still a little bit fresh in this role as the VP. I transitioned into this role here in January. So definitely a learning experience and growing, I'll say. But I'll go and let Carla introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carla Karen. I am the SAFE coordinator here at NHSC. My role is a little bit about first year coach. I help a lot with the transition from like high school to college. I organize orientation. I host a lot of the events. I'm also the certified official for the veterans. And I do a little bit of like the helping out with Welcome Week, and we have a little resource that I will explain a little bit later. So
okay, we're
gonna go ahead and share our presentation today. There we go. Can I please have a thumbs up or something, that way I know it's showing? Perfect, thank you. Okay, so here we are.
All right, so we are going to be talking just a little bit about some tips, tools, resources, kind of getting yourself basically like a little guide for you for your college success, your first year, jumping into college. We're gonna there you go. So our first slide is just kind of a little bit about our institution. So I'm not sure if some of you are familiar with the North Dakota tribal colleges, but we are one of 5, and we're located in Newtown. So we're currently serving on the MHA Nation, so Fort Berthold. There's 5 communities that are cover a 1 million acreage here. So we have like satellite offices, and our furthest one is about 2 hours from us, and that's still considered to be on the reservation. So There's Forebears, Mandaree, Twin Buttes, White Shield, and then Partial area. Partial and Forebears are our closest, and as well as the Newtown area. So our institution is open enrollment. We have approximately 72% female students. 36.1% are 18 to 24-year-olds. And I will say that within the last couple of years, here at the institution, that has actually transitioned. So prior to a few years ago, we used to have the older students. So the average age was like 34 and up. And during that time, we had to I'll say come up with different activities and events for our older generational students, right? But now that we've had to transition to kind of thinking for our 18 to 24-year-old students, we have to gear our activities and events to make sure we're fitting all the needs and we have all the resources for our 18 to 24 as well. So that has actually transitioned, like I said, within the last couple of years, the younger generation coming directly from the high school. So, and then 52% of our students are full-time students, 64% are associate degree seeking students here at the institution. And on average, our average student enrollment is approximately, I would say 175 to maybe about 230, 240-ish, which would include dual credit students. So we actually have a really awesome dual credit program. It has grown within the last few years. So last year we had approximately 56 dual credit students, and those students came from or were taking classes with us from the Newtown High School and our Mandaree High School. So, and then of course, 81% of our students are American Indian or Alaskan Native. So, okay. So the academic adjustment in college, navigating the transition to college life. So I'll kind of give you guys a little background, like how we've kind of transitioned our institution to kind of fit, like I mentioned, the needs of all of our students as they transition into the college setting. So prior to some of us kind of taking the lead on transitional roles and responsibilities here at the college, there was like programming that was, I would say, maybe kind of started, but it wasn't necessarily as successful as the institution wanted it to be. They were seeing like a lot of students dropping, a lot of students were failing like the first year seminar classes. They weren't completing, right? So a group of us and working with Achieving the Dream, AICF, several different other programs that work with TCUs predominantly, we had to come up with some different ways as to for us to help our students. So myself and our other coworker, Jen, we decided we would take over the Psych 100 class, which is our first year seminar course. And we transitioned that course into what the students were asking for, basically, right? What they thought was important for them to be successful in college. So basically what we did with the course is we transitioned it to, it was like in the past, it was like a full semester long course. And that was during the time when students were completing and they were failing out because, you know, life happens, right? Things happen, work happens, whatever their situation was at that time. They weren't successful. And so what we ended up doing is we transitioned the course to like an 8-week course. And then the students in that time frame, they were like, well, 8 weeks was kind of too long for us, right? So our next semester, we worked out a different way, and we tried to do like a 4-week course. And then they said that was still kind of too long. So then we decided, well, let's try like a boot camp style. And that was actually really successful for us. And we started out with like 2 weekends, well, Friday and a Saturday, as like a boot camp kind of style. And the students, they enjoyed it, right? They were more successful in the class. And so they were passing the class, they were gaining the content. But then Jen and I took like another step, I'll say. And we were like, all this information that we're providing to the student, they should be getting prior to them actually starting classes, right? So we decided that we were going to have the students take our class the Thursday and Friday prior to classes starting on Monday. So now that we've done that, it is a whole different transition for our students. They're getting all the supports that they need, the resources that they need. They're meeting the people that they need to know, who's who on campus. We're making sure that they're logged into their My NHSC portal, that they understand how to use that portal, how to find their classes, how to figure out if they have excess aid that's going to be returned to them. We're seeing like a big transition in our student success with just kind of modifying our first year seminar course to fit the needs of what the students were requesting. So that was just a little bit of background on our Psych 100 course. Do you want to add anything with it?
So part of also the work that we're doing right now, it would be as soon as you register as a student, the first step would be, okay, you applied. Always make sure you keep in touch with your admissions person. She's gonna have a lot of the firsthand information. So if you have any questions regarding what's my next step, most of the time your admissions person is going to guide you on who you should be seeing next, or where to find those resources available for you. So that way you know exactly, so you don't miss out on deadlines and you don't miss out on events that might be happening prior of you starting classes. The earlier you register for classes, the better, because then you got choices on like classes that you get to choose according to your schedule, according to like your babysitter, according to your transportation. And that is very important. So always try to plan ahead. Give yourself plenty of time to order your books, to order your laptop. That would just help your transition starting classes smooth. So that would be my first tip that I have as part of the beginning of everything, from starting the semester. Okay, and then here we go. The other part, a little bit of what I do here at the college is I organize the orientation. So after I receive a notification that a student has been registered and fully accepted, I like to start up a list. That way I can start informing them. And also our admissions person does send out a little flyer saying when orientation starts. So hopefully at your college, they do something similar, or it might be posted on their website. Or you might get an email. Always check the emails too. It's very important to keep communication. And if you don't have access to your email, find somebody in the college that could help you access that email. Is very important. So orientation is hosted. We'll give a little bit of background on how we came about orientation. So our orientation, we have BAMT, may cut up to, I don't know, maybe like 3 changes since I've been in this position now. The first one that I recalled, actually, it was connected with the Psych 100 class. So Deanna's very aware of that. And then it became a lot. Students are getting a lot of important information during orientation on top of doing the workload of Psych 100 class. So we decided to just separate it. By separating those 2 classes, it gives the students a little bit of more time to focus on different things at different times. So with orientation, we focus on getting you ready for classes for the semester. What that means for us right now is email. I want to make sure that students have their emails working in their laptop and also have access to it on your phone. I want to make sure that the portal is working and you don't have any issues. Once again, you can have access to it on your phone. You know how to navigate it on the website, on the web. And then after that, I want to make sure that you have your laptop ready, because we are a laptop campus. So I don't know if your college has the same, but always find those details, because that's going to help you be successful this semester, to be prepared ahead of time. In our case, we do require laptops for all classes, for all of our majors. Therefore, I want to make sure your student is ready to go. Laptops are working, all of the webs that you're going to need are downloaded, all softwares are downloaded and ready to go. Your logins, I always remind students, you're going to have a lot of logins, you're going to have a lot of user IDs. Write them down, take pictures, take notes, have an agenda, have a planner, utilize your phone. Majority of us use our phone for everything on a daily basis. I suggest taking pictures. That way you don't lose the paper, or you don't have to misplace the paper. You'll find it on a picture, or utilize your notes on your phone. That's another way. Sometimes I have students text themselves or like send an email to themselves about something. That works. Any of those tips, whatever works best for you, just find what works for you. Also during orientation, we do a tour of the campus. When you're going on the tour, it's not just like, oh my gosh, I have to walk. Why do I need to know all these classes if I'm not going to be taking it? Think about like your next semester. So maybe this semester you're only taking a few classes. Next semester you might be taking more. You want to be aware of what's happening on campus. There might be resources that you're missing out just because you're closed-minded into just what you need at that moment. But you can actually help yourself by knowing like, oh, well, hey, there's free lunch on Tuesdays during lunch and learns, or there's free class that I can learn about scholarships or anything. It happens at different locations, so find out about those. Ask questions. The library, if your college has a library, that's a good resource. Maybe a writing center, or if they provide like culture center, anything like that. So like, it's important to ask questions during a tour and know where your exit doors are and your hangout area. That's important too for college life. Like, I'm the first year coach. I want to make the life of a life student like fun. It's not just education, of course, we're here for that, but it's the college life. We want to have good memories. We want to make friends. We want to have connections. Part of that is knowing where those areas are. So that's part of the orientation tour. Also, you get to introduce some of the important people that you're going to be dealing with, like your financial aid people, your student accounts, your advisor. You're going to have good communication with your advisor for majority of your careers. If any changes happen in your schedule, you need to notify that person so they can work to make sure you're successful throughout your semester. If they have a first year coach like me, keep good communication, because I can guide you into all the ins and outs for students, and I can make your life a little bit easier. And don't ever feel afraid or embarrassed to ask any questions, because we were a student once upon a time. Every single instructor was a student once upon a time, and they all had to learn. So don't feel embarrassed for asking anything. Always ask questions. A little bit about the campus events. I would say sometimes you might think, I'm not interested in learning about cooking, but those connections that you can make by getting to know that instructor, by getting to know another person that attended those events, might help you, because that person might be your classmate in the math class. And then now you made a friend, and then maybe you can like get the buddy system going and start studying together, because math is not your biggest subject. So now you created a connection for you. So that cooking class guides you into getting to know other people and expanding your resources. So sometimes if you have the time and there's a free event and maybe you get something out of it, like sometimes there's a lot of gift cards or giveaways or prizes or extra credit. Take advantage of those little things. They might not be as big at that moment, but they add up. Support groups, I would definitely recommend those as well. Here we are big on our campus as far as we attend AHEC, we attend what are some of the things that I know our community events,
Yeah.
lunch and learns. We do have student senate, little things like that can become big on your resume when you're applying for scholarships, and they can create like what would you say, like a resource. You can They get to know you better, so then when you do get out there in the real world with a degree, they'll know you. They already know, like, oh yeah, this person, like, they were all over the place promoting the college for whatever the group that you decided to join. So you put your face out there, and it helps. Let's see. And then here we have.
Okay. So just a little bit about campus resources for success. Academic advising, like Carla mentioned, to take advantage of your advisor, right? That's what they're there for. They are there to support you, to guide you, to help you pick out those classes for the next semester. I always tell students, take advantage of their office time. Like, don't be shy from those office hours. That's what those times are for. They're for you to go in and visit with your advisor. And like here at our institution, our faculty are the advisors for students. So, and we have like our first year coach, and then we have our student success coach, which is the individual who she's like the main advisors for all of our first year students. And then they get transitioned to Carla, and then they transition onto their faculty advisor. So and that's all within the first year of them coming on board with us. So they have a lot of support and guidance with those three individuals, and the communication is all within those three individuals in regards to the student and what their needs are. So take advantage of that time with your advisor or your if it's a faculty advisor. I'm not sure how some of your institutions do that, if they have like student success coaches or first year coaches, or if it's faculty advisors, kind of like how we have here at our institution. But connect. They will have resources for you. They'll have supports for you. Like I mentioned, they'll be able to guide you with picking out your classes for the next semester, and also providing you kind of like a plan for yourself, right? As you're navigating through college, you're gonna want to, see okay, I can take these classes the first semester. What about these classes in the second semester? They might even be able to devise a plan for you for 2 full years of your academic journey. So this way you would know what you're supposed to be taking during which semester of which academic year. So don't hesitate to visit your advisor. Don't be shy from your advisor, and definitely ask questions when meeting with your academic advisor. So another campus resource that we provide, and I'm sure this one is probably at most of your institutions, is a tutoring service. This one I feel like is important. And actually here at our institution, we're kind of building in a new little system for us this year, where we are starting what's it called? Oh, a learning lab. So it'll be kind of like a tutoring room, but the learning lab is going to be specifically designed for those math and English classes. In the past, we did have tutoring services, but we felt like
They were not being utilized.
yeah, they weren't being utilized as effectively as we would like to have seen, right? And we were seeing our students kind of struggling with primarily the math and English courses. So that's why this semester is going to be our first semester with a kickoff for a learning lab. And so how that's going to work is in our math and English classes, that's going to be part of, part of the class. The instructors will go with their students to the learning lab, and that way they'll be able to get tutoring services, whether it's with the instructor or an additional tutor at that time. So if the student is struggling with, maybe it's a writing assignment, or I don't know, maybe it's a harder math class or whatever it might be, the student will have that dedicated time with specifically the instructor as well as a tutor in the learning lab to get those one-on-one assistance or additional support that they might need to be successful in either of those classes. So, and then as far as like our other classes that maybe a student might need tutoring in, maybe it's psychology or sociology or one of the language classes, what they're doing is having the advisors or the instructor who's teaching the class during their office hours, they're going to have those as tutoring times as well. So and then all that information will be getting distributed to the students, whether at orientation or during the Psych 100 class, so the students have that access. And then it'll most likely be posted on our My NHSC portal, which is where the students can see their classes and then any information related to their courses or like financial needs or anything like that. So and another thing is college supports. So like here at our institution, we have what's called an emergency aid program. I'm not sure, maybe some of your institutions might have this, but I would definitely look into it. This has really been a great resource for our students here at the college. So our emergency aid program it helps students who are struggling financially, say they let's see, say they may be short on funds for food or gas, and they need the gas to get to and from class. They can come in and apply with our emergency aid program and get some gas gift cards to help them get to and from class, right? And then being as we're so rural and we have students who drive from Mandaree, which is approximately 45 minutes one way, White Shield, that one is to about 45 minutes one way. And then Twin Buttes is the longest, and like I said, that one is about 2 hours away. So sometimes it could be a struggle, right, to come to class every single day, and we don't necessarily have that. Some people just don't have those means, right? So we offer an emergency aid program that can help our students utilize some gas funds to get to and from class. The program also helps with childcare. So like say that they can't afford to pay like their childcare bill, maybe it's 1 month, the program can help them pay, for their childcare assistance. The program can also help with like a deposit. Maybe they're moving into a new apartment, or they found an apartment here in town, and they just don't have the money to, do the deposit. So our program is able to help them with that portion of the moving expenses. So also it helps with if a student has like, maybe they're delinquent like on a medical bill, or maybe they broke their glasses, right? Of course, if a student needs glasses, they're going to need those, right, to get through class and be able to read their materials in their books and be able to see what's going on their laptops or whatever it might be. So we're able to help with prescriptions, or to get them new glasses or anything like that with our emergency aid program. So definitely check that out at your institutions to see if your institution has an emergency aid program. I would also recommend to check out to see if they have a food pantry. Some institutions have a food pantry at their institution. We also have a food pantry here. It's a small food pantry, but it's been very helpful for our students. We keep non-perishable items in there. We don't have like the fresh like veggies or anything like that or fruit, but they're able to come in and get canned goods, cereal, pasta, and then we'll give them a $25 gift card so that way they can go buy the milk for the cereal or the hamburger or whatever it might be, the fruit or anything like that. So if they visit the food pantry, they're able to pick out stuff from the shelf, and then we give them a $25 gift card to go and get the additional resources or supplies that they might need to make their meal a full meal for the night or however many days that they needed the food supplies. And then another campus support that I would recommend is, and this one I always say, like, don't hesitate to ask questions on. Like if you were ever, on a IEP or a 504 plan at maybe it was during high school or anything like that, go to your disability support services or your academic support services, whatever the campus support, whatever it's called at your institution. Don't be afraid of that office. That office can help tremendously with student support, right? I'm not sure like what your guidelines would be at your institutions, but here at ours, students would come in, they do an intake form, they meet with the counselor, and then from there, the counselor and the student decide on possible accommodations that will help the student be successful in those courses. And of course, like the student does have to provide documentation in regards to like their disability or anything like that. But make sure if you have any of those concerns or definitely ask questions in regards to getting your support that you deserve or you need. Don't hesitate on that stuff. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some of our college supports.
NACTEP.
Oh, yeah. So here at our institution, we have a program that's called NACTEP. This program helps our students with, I believe it's like up to $900 of tuition, and then $250 with like books and fees, and then they get like a monthly stipend. So this might be something else that you guys could check out at your institution to see if there's like a NACTEP program, or maybe it's even some of your degree programs they might offer. They might have like a student research group, and those student research groups might offer my monthly stipend for you, or something like that. So definitely ask questions. Hey, don't be scared to ask those questions, because you never know what you're going to stumble upon. You might even be able to stumble upon like a really awesome internship within your program, or a really good apprentice program that you could do, like you could build up, and be able to do during the summer months. Or so definitely don't be afraid to ask those questions in regards to like your college supports, and helping stuff that will, or finding resources for yourself that'll help you be successful in your college journey. So
Okay, so we have some of the challenges that we face as a first year student. We came up with a couple of things, but I know there's some definitely challenges that are happening. So I don't know, we want to talk about academics.
yep. So some academic pressures, like so this is one thing that we bring up in our Psych 100 class, is sometimes students will kind of find themselves, maybe it's struggling to work in groups, or the content is too, they're not understanding the content, or overwhelmed. Yeah, they might be feeling overwhelmed. They're not sure how to go about, school or college life. And I kind of always go back to my story, and I'll be honest with you guys. Well, when my husband was in school, and when I started, I was like way overwhelmed. I just didn't think I could do it. And it was probably about 2 weeks in, and I was going to school at UND. And I was like, holy cow, it was a big culture shock for me. It was, yeah, I was just all over the place. We had we had a little girl at the time, and um yeah, so I had to about those first 2 weeks, I struggled. I was on the struggle bus. I was crying every day. I didn't know what to do. I didn't I didn't ask questions. I didn't try to figure out resources. And then um here one day somebody told me, why don't you go visit the counselor's office? So I did, because I was like on the verge of like dropping out of classes and everything. So I went to go visit the counselor, and I was kind of telling her how I was feeling. Like, I was really overwhelmed. I didn't know how to manage classes. I didn't know how to manage my time. I didn't know how to, prepare for class. I didn't know none of that because it was my first year in class, right? And um, of course, like, my husband was trying to support me, but he was already well off into his degree, and he was well beyond that first year of class. And so he was kind of busy with his stuff, and I just didn't want to feel like I was being a burden or overwhelm him. And while he was trying to finish up, so the counselor actually was the one who she really gave me some good advice. And this is one thing I always share with our students in our Psych 100 class is what she shared with me. And she told me to take college like a job. And so I was like, well, what do you mean by that? And she was like, well, you got to be to work by 9 o'clock. And I was like, okay, I was like, well, yeah, I've been to work, because I had worked prior to going to class. And so I was like, okay, I could do that, get to work by 9. And she was like, but before 9 o'clock, you gotta be up, and you have to get your daughter to daycare, and you gotta be at class by 9 o'clock. So I was like, oh, okay, well, okay, here we go. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna do this or whatever in here. So how she had me plan it out is from 9 to 5, that's all I worried about was school, right? I gave myself a lunch break. I gave myself 2 breaks, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And I during that time was my time for studying, going to class. If I had papers I had to do, if I had maybe it was a quick like blog that I had to do on an assignment, or maybe it was a peer-to-peer discussion, or maybe it was like a little group project, whatever it was, right? That was my time from 9 to 5 to be in class and get those assignments done. And it like worked so well for me that I felt like I zoomed through my first 4 years of college, right? Because once I got going in it and I got myself a groove, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I can do this. This is not bad at all. And so I really had to take my time to like organize myself and prepare myself for like every semester. But once I was, like I said, once I was in that groove, then it was, I flew through. And I ended up going on for like my master's degree. And um I just felt like all that feeling of being overwhelmed and stress and all that just kind of like I felt like it was lifted off of my shoulders. And the only thing, that I really worried about then was making sure I got my stuff done on time. And um and then she also told me that like after 5 o'clock, so like 5 to 8 or whenever we put our daughter down for like bed, um that was her time, right? That was our family time. And I had to like get my husband on the same schedule, right? Which he was accepting of it. And so once we were both on it, oh, it was just like it was such a breeze, and we were just cruising through like school, and we didn't have to worry about that overwhelming feeling after that. But we I got her whole family on a little schedule, um and then once she went to bed, like at night when we put her down for bed, which was probably about 8 or 8:30, then that was like either like my time, my me time, or I could bring back out my books, if I had maybe another page of a paper I wanted to get done or something like that. Um, then that was the time when I would finish that additional work, or maybe it was just chill and watch a movie or something like that. So um, you just kind of got to find what's gonna work for you, right? Um, and help you get through those stresses or um overwhelming feelings. I always say self-care is very important when you're a college student, even when you're working in your career. Self-care is something that's very important, and I feel like more people should. It's hard. I know it's hard. It's hard for us to do that because most
Feel
of us,
selfish.
yeah, we feel selfish, or and then we put everybody else in front of us, but it's important. Like it's important for your health and your overall well-being, and um to take, even if it's just 5-10 minutes, just take that time for yourself, and put down the phone or whatever it is, and just maybe it's just sitting in silence, and yeah, having a cup of coffee or drinking your favorite tea, or whatever it might be. Just take that time for yourself. It's important. You want to jump in?
Yeah, so I want to touch a little bit about the time management. She brought up a really good point. Um, Doing what works best for you. Part of that is when you go register for classes, um, be honest with yourself about what you can and cannot handle. What I mean by that is we're excited. We want to start college. We want to be full time. We want to get done within 2 years or 4 years or whatever your situation might be. Keep in mind your situation. Do you have a full time job? Do you have kids? Are they little? Are they like in school? How's your transportation stuff? Like, how is that the college you're planning to attend? How far is it? Like the commute on that. Um, those are important things to keep in mind because that's going to help you be successful. If you sign up for a full-time course classes, and you have a full-time job and your job is not aware that you're taking that many courses, it might interfere with you coming to class. Then you're going to start missing class. Then you're going to start being late. That's going to overwhelm you. That's going to put pressure on you and like not knowing what to do. Do I go to class? Do I go to work? I need the money, but I need the education. Don't do that to yourself. It's okay to just take a couple classes a semester if that's what your situation is. It's okay. It's better to take a couple classes a semester and pass those classes than take a full semester and end up dropping mid-semester because it was too much, because you just put yourself behind even more, because then next year you're gonna do the same thing. And by then you haven't completed any classes. It's okay to go at your pace. No one's rushing you. It's not a chase, like it's not a race. You'll get your degree when you get your degree, and that's okay. Also double check with your job. Sometimes they do work with you as far as like taking classes. Sometimes they do encourage your education. So sometimes it's just asking questions and just saying like, sometimes they do offer a couple of like time during your work hours. So sometimes you might be like, okay, well, I can take this class during my lunch hour and then an extra like maybe hour or so. Sometimes your college might offer a virtual option, and then you can be like, okay, I don't have to drive anywhere. That saves me time. I can do my class here in the parking lot, log in real quick if that is available. Just learn your resources, what's available, and try to make it work for you. Don't try to please people and just say, I really like my advisor. She said I should take 5 classes. she doesn't know your lifestyle. She doesn't know what goes on at home, and what your support system is. So just be really aware of that. That's part of the time management part of it too. Like Deanna said, if you have to wake up early and drop your kids at the babysitter, but you don't like waking up early in the morning, don't take morning classes. You're setting yourself up for failure. And just be honest with yourself. It's okay. This is college. No one's gonna judge you on what time you wake up. That's your life. But yeah, just kind of plan it, be honest with yourself, and that's the one thing that I definitely wish I would have known before. Because those are some of the mistakes that I've made. That's kind of a little bit of my background that I had in college. Not knowing and not being honest about what was your lifestyle. So that was one thing I wanted to add. Okay, here we got some more tips for success for the first year. The academic and social engagement. I mentioned it a little bit before, but building relationships, it was a bonus for me. I was the first generation student when I started college. And so I had no background. I had absolutely no idea what to even expect when it came about college. My parents unfortunately did not attend college. And so even applying for college, I was like, I don't even know like where to apply. Is it paper? Is it online? What do I take? What do I ask? How does this work? Do I have to pay everything like right away? It's super expensive. Like all the things that you hear out there, like it would put doubt in your mind. And then I realized I was like, well, no, it's actually they offer a lot of help. There's lots of resources out there. You meet people, they guide you, they have more knowledge, they have experience. And a lot of it is free, free knowledge that they're willing to share with students. And so building relationships is very important. Also, you're gonna need them for recommendations for scholarships or for your jobs, or who knows, you might end up getting a job at the college. So yeah, building relationship is big. Keep in touch. Maybe like she said, the counselor gave her really good advice, make her life completely easier. We mentioned camper resources before. Once again, utilize every single little thing while you're in college because it's free. Once you graduate, some of those resources are going to be things that you're going to have to pay. So utilize them while they're free, available to you during that semester. Sometimes it's only their first year. The first year, and you're like, well, I didn't know about that. And now you're getting ready to graduate. You no longer qualify for that. Take advantage when it's your turn. When it's your time, don't wait. And then a little bit about the culture. I've learned a lot. I'm originally not from here, but this college has shown me and taught me so much. I did take what was it? Hidatsa 1, a history class as well, and I learned so much. Just that. I live here, I work here, I took classes here. I think it was very important for me to know a little bit of the background of where I'm at. Sometimes that's also important. If you're going to college in your town where you were born, maybe you can provide those information sometimes. Those cultural classes were very, very important and helpful. So I know I learned a lot. Yeah. If you have anything to add.
So I would say from experience, especially like if you're attending, maybe it's a larger institution, and maybe check it out to see if they have like a cultural diversity center, or maybe they have like a Native American center, or they might have like even diversity nights or like anything like that. Definitely check out what supports you have in that realm. That was another area that really helped us while we attended the University of North Dakota. Is they at the time they had, well, they still do, but they had a Native American center, and that was like a home away from home for us. And then once our daughter, she went to UND as well. she utilized the same offices for herself. And I'll just be honest too with her story. She attended NHSC, but it was right at the cusp, I'll say, of of COVID, right? And so everything was transitioning to online during that time. So she didn't really get that on campus experience. You know, she didn't get to sit in the class and work one-on-one with her peers. She didn't get to sit in the class and have the instructor in front of her. Everything was, you know, digital and through the computer at that time. So when she transitioned to UND, it was a big culture shock for her. And she called us and she was crying and she just didn't think she could make it. And so, you know, it was a lot of talking and being a support system for her, you know. And I will say, Carla did mention this part, but I think this is another big part. You know, you got to find your support system. Who are those people who are going to support you as you journey through your academic, you know, your academic journey? Who's going to be that person or people who you can call when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling stressed out? Or, you know, who's going to be that person you can call when you might not understand what the instructor's talking about, or you might not understand something on your bill, or whatever the situation might be. You know, it's always good to have at least one or two, maybe three, really good people who are going to support you as you know, venture through your your academic career here. So, and during our Psych 100 course, this is one thing that we talk about with our students, is to find or have those people, because, you know, we all know how it is. It can get overwhelming, it can be stressful, and you know, you gotta have that person or people to support you and back you up in your corner. So so don't forget about that part. You know, make sure you embrace and finding yourself a good support system. And whether that's your parents, your grandparents, your aunt, uncle, your cousin, your best friend, maybe it's your advisor, or maybe, you know, maybe it's
First year coach.
yeah. You know, whoever that person is, just make sure that you know, you're confident enough into, you know, talking with them, and that they're able to give you some good advice and some good support along your journey. So let's see what else. I think that is that about, oh yeah. So, and then just to kind of wrap things up, I also will say, make sure you're attending class regularly. This is another thing we stress to our students. And don't forget to ask questions in class. No question is a dumb question, right? Most times you're not going to be the only one who wants to know that answer. So don't be afraid to raise your hand when you have a question, and ask those questions. So and attending class is important. They always, you know, they usually say, like, if you miss one class, that could possibly put you back, you know, maybe it's a week or at least 2 days or something. So try not to miss class, and make sure you're in class and you're taking good notes and studying efficiently. If maybe you have a class that's once a week, don't put that class off until the night before. You know, allow yourself some time to look into that content, look into those materials. Even if it's right after the class or a day after the class or whatever it might be, don't procrastinate. Get on your work right away. But so I guess in closing, here's our contact info. If you ever have any questions, or if you want to just give us a call, or we could be your support system too. No. But there's our contact info, there's our email, our college website. yeah, so
Open up if anybody has any questions or comments.
oh, if you lose your phone, how your advice to get a hold of you? I would say, so remember when Carla mentioned about making sure you have like all your usernames and all that kind of stuff written down or in a safe place. Your well, here at our institution, the primary form of communication here is via email. So that's how we usually communicate everything with our students is through email here at our institution. You might want to see what your college, if like their primary form of communication is email or if it's via phone or text. Some colleges have a text alert system. So
Teams is a good
oh
one
yeah,
too. You don't
Teams,
need a phone. You can log in on any website with your login, and using Teams, you can send out emails. You can make phone calls, make video calls. It holds like files and all that kind of stuff. So that's another way too as a backup. I see this one too. How do you know the tutor is helping the area needed help with? What's the tutor?
What is it one? How do you know the tutor is helping the area needed help with?
I do know we here on campus we do have a designated person for tutoring, and so she asked us a couple questions like, what exactly is it a specific subject? Is it like an overall thing that you need help with? And if it's something that she feels confident enough, then she will take on and just kind of schedule a one-on-one with that student to go over what they need. And if it's something she needs more help, particular in like, let's say I didn't understand my class from this morning. The tutor either will go and visit with the instructor or the instructor can have the office hours for that student. So I don't know if that answers that question for the tutoring.
Joan, I think you had your hand up. Would you have a question?
Yeah, so I put that in the chat room because that's, as a student support person, I will ask the students, if you lose your phone, how will I get a hold of you? And so I need to know that you have other contacts that we can make.
Right.
And then just, is that the best way to get a hold of you? Do you like texting? Do you like emailing? Do you want
Right.
So knowing that ahead of time, especially if we have students we haven't heard from for a while.
Yeah.
So we like to know where they're at.
Yeah, that's very important. Yes.
Always update information.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we have our returning students do is just kind of update us with their address, email address, and phone number. And then Carla, since she does a lot of work with the first year students, so she's constantly having they have like little meeting sessions and she'll have them sign in with like name and email,
Phone
phone
number.
number. So that way she's kind of gathering that info throughout the semester, and then if she noticed something has changed, she brings it down to admissions or the registrar for them to update into the system.
Again, thank you again, everybody, for joining. If there's any other questions, we'll wait a second, but I think there's a lot of information you guys provided for us today. So I think really appreciate all the feedback in the comment section, but also all the great information you provided us today, Carla and Deanna. So thank you again for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and share the link and the survey QR code to end our SCO to College series, our third annual this year. So again, thank you guys for joining. Please fill out this survey. Super helpful for us and beneficial, and helps us really critique our sort of programming going forward as well. So we definitely will appreciate your feedback. And again, like I said, we'll probably do the drawing sometimes next week. And then we just, again, we're always here if you have any questions. I know Carla and her team have provided the information as well. whether you're, at a university or a tribal college or a community college, we definitely want to sort of put our best foot forwards to really assist and support you guys. Whether you're a returning student, you're, graduate student, or you're just, a faculty or staff member curious to learn more about the conversation. So we definitely are in this together. I'm sure a lot of you guys are prepping right now. School's right around the corner for some of you. I know I was just having this internal discussion with our speakers and Adriana earlier. I know my niece just started school today, grade school. It is obviously it's not quite college, but I know the semester for a lot of us is in the coming weeks. So again, we just want to thank you guys and for joining us. So, but I'll pass it on to Adriana to hand us out today. So.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, again, thank you so much for joining. And Carla and Deanna, thank you so much for ending us off on a good note and sharing some few final tips and tricks. Like they said, they're more than willing to be a support system. Everybody in this series is here to help you and is more than willing to be a part of your support system. So reach out to us if you ever have any questions or need any advice on anything. We were in your footsteps before and know how challenging it can be, but as long as you have a good support system, good coping mechanisms to help you, what works for you, and sometimes get stressful and everything, and asking for help, that's going to be your biggest tools to take away and to help prepare for successful years and everything. So yes, thank you all so much for joining. Please share the message. We do this go to college every year in the summer before classes start. So if you have any friends, siblings, or anybody who might be interested in joining this, we'll be, working along and hosting these every year for the time being. And yeah, we really hope everything was received well. And I hope you all have a good rest of your week and good luck in your school years. Again, if you're a student or if you're staff, I hope you all have a good, healthy year, and I wish you all nothing but success. And yeah, we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you, everybody.